My name is Michelle Acton, as you can imagine. I work with Old Mutual. I'm an actuary and a business leader within the business. I've been at Old Mutual for about 8 years, but 20 years or more of experience in financial services. And why PFP? I think it was perfect timing. I'd just come out of a 3 years theological program of training, and I was looking for something else more from a business leadership perspective study. So just as I was going through my research of what was available for me to start as my next study program, up pops a request from Old Mutual, 2 Old Mutual leaders saying, guys, please, we need people to come forward to help with this program. And funny enough, probably not even 6 months prior, I remember on a run, somebody was telling me about this great program they'd been on and how it was such an experience. So I thought, well, it's obviously meant to be, and I'll put my name up for it. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what the commitment would have been. But I thought, why not? And yeah, I joined the program. So that's the history behind why.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing what I hear has been an opportunity for adventure for you. Wonderful. Con, can we hear from you, your decision to join PFP and a little bit about your school?
I must admit, I wasn't actively looking for anything. I received an email from someone to say, do you want to become part of this program? Sorry, I should have introduced myself as Con Purchase. I'm the principal of Midrand High School. I've been now a year and 6 months close to, started in November 2018. And I was literally, I think it was early in January, I received an email from Symphonia to say that, do you want to join the Partners for Possibility program? I didn't have an idea what it was. It just said leadership, business leadership help and things. And I said, what more can I need? Because as a new principal, this would be a very, very good idea for me to learn. And like Michelle has also said, I had no idea what it was about. Honestly, didn't have any idea. I just said, thank you very much. And yes, and what a journey. It was the beginning of an incredible journey in terms of don't know what to expect, what's expected, what it's going to entail and everything. And looking back, I think it's most probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life. I could have said no, and I'm very, very glad that I didn't, because I've got the opportunity to meet, and I'm very privileged to have a business partner like Michelle. I think we will see later on is we've really gelled very, very nicely together. And I can only say that it's like she said, it was divine intervention almost. And I'm very, very happy to be part of this program. And I'll be one of those people that will, during a run, tell someone, another headmaster, listen, if you can get onto this program, take it in hands, because it's been invaluable, not just in terms of the school itself. It's been invaluable for me as a person as well, because through the interactions we've had is new points of views, and people in their own ways make you aware of what you can do as a person. And for me, it was just absolutely an amazing journey so far. And I can clearly say that I don't think it's ending. For me, that's the most important part, that this program might be ending, but I think the partnership that we've made and that came to grow in the last few months is never ending. It will continue for a long, long time to come.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for sharing about that, Con. And can you share a little bit with us about your school as well? I would like us to come back to the partnership, because I'm hearing you are describing it's been a profound experience for you. What can you share with us about your school?
Obviously, we're situated in Midrand, which is a very, very interesting area to be in. I think we've got some of the richest people in the world living here, and we've got some of the poorest people in the world living very close to us in terms of that. So the school has got 1,260 learners, very, very diverse. Like I said, is from very rich to very poor. A very diverse community in terms of that, in terms of the racial breakdown of the school. the staff is a representation of South Africa to a T. And if I mean it isn't, we've got Zimbabwean teachers here. We've got the blacks, the Indians, some whites, colored. So it's really the South Africa in a nutshell is over here. It's just has done exceptionally well in the past in terms of academic performances. So yeah, and coming in as a brand new person, it was a very interesting environment. I don't think it was a tough one coming in. You're coming into a school that is predominantly, and I'm going to say non-white in that sense, and you come in as a white Afrikaans male coming environment. It was a challenge on its own, but to be honest, the school community and the staff and the learners accepted everybody as is, and I think that's what makes the school so special. And we've had some very good results in 2019, and we were busy putting plans together and had some implemented on our short-term thing. And then, like we said, we had 2020 BC, and now we've got 2020.2, 2020 before COVID, and 2020 after COVID. And I think this partnership has helped a lot into managing this whole change program at the moment because of the things that we've learned and done as part of our planning program anyway. A lot of things got accelerated. Yes. Other things are completely now non-important at all. So that's a little bit on the back burner. But through all of it, it's just, I think our plans are still holding up very nicely. So for me, it says we've done something correctly in a sense. And I think Michelle has played a massive part in that. She just sat there. I know you said she's roping me in. So don't let that fool you. She just sat there and I had to do all the work. So, and for me, that is almost the most important part of this whole thing is somebody else doing the stuff. It was somebody else guiding. Awesome. And to that, I'm eternally grateful for, because if she could do it, I wouldn't be able to do it now. Indeed. And yeah, that is quite important.
Indeed. Can just your face as you speak about your school, as you speak about your partnership with Michelle, you've got a smile that speaks volumes.
Thank goodness you don't see the tears.
What specific examples of your partnership with Michelle that you can speak of?
I just ask you to ask Michelle quickly. I've just got someone that I just need to address quickly, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Thank you, Con. Working with the realities of being at school at this time. Michelle, can I invite you to share from your side the things that you are most proud of about your partnership with Con in the time you've worked together?
I think how we've both grown. I remember my first meeting with Con in his office, both of us trying to figure out what the answers were. And he was a new principal, and there was a whole lot of uncertainty, and almost like a lack of self-confidence in his own ability. And I think what's been incredibly powerful is seeing how through this program and us working together, began to really see that the power is in his hands and he is completely capable. And it's almost like a new confident Con has come out on the other end. And yes, there's been processes we've followed, and yes, there's been steps and programs, etc. But the major thing is just really, I've been pushing Con, but instead of him resisting, he's been thriving. And I think for me, that's been one of the most powerful changes of coming out of this program. And I mean, a really good example of that is when I first joined the program with Con, watching him work, he was doing everything. Yes. Because, you know, he was doing this and he was doing that, and he was having to complete this because he wasn't sure the others would be able to do it, so he would just do it. And through working with him and helping him push back, he's become less of a doer and more of a leader. And I think that's been an important shift. So it's been less crisis management, which is not the role of leadership, and more into strategic. How do you take the school forward? How do you plan this? And how do we put the pieces of the puzzle together instead of actually focusing on each individual piece? And that's really been so powerful, seeing that change over the past 12 months.
Indeed. Thank you. And we continue, Michelle, to see Con's eyes shining even to this day when he thinks about and reflects about the experience of this partnership. Can we invite you, Con, to share a specific example of you know, what you are most proud of about your partnership with Michelle?
I think the one thing is and it's an internal thing, and I think it's she mentioned it is to start to doubt yourself, is that she said the power is in me to be able to do things. And I think at one stage because you knew you're not sure, and I've gained a lot of confidence through the processes that we have followed, in terms of, we sat down and I actually literally checked the first set of guidelines that we had, and we said these were our little targets that we set out compared to what we ended up with. Chalk and cheese. And for me is the knowledge that we were able to share and discuss was incredible. I think we were very lucky in our partnership is that we, personality wise, we clicked quite quickly. There was not a rub of personality or a huge difference in the thought processes. I think the practical experience that she had in terms of managing and plus the programs that we followed, and the fact that she pushed and go through the processes, and the things that didn't work, we managed to chat about it and say, how did you do this? And then I was able to apply it to the school itself, and it's made a big difference in that. And I think even as we said today, we discussed earlier, this whole management now of the COVID-19 and schools reopening has made it a lot easier for me to do, because I know that I can do this, and if we do this and this and follow this, that's how we will get there. And I think we've gone a long way in terms of that. And sometimes we wondered what the programs that we put in place, if it was not too big. And looking back now, those big ideas, they were all well within reach. And it's the exchange of knowledge and experience and help that got there. And it's like I said, you can only be grateful to be granted an opportunity like this just when you've become a principal. I mean, if I was a 20-year-old principal, I don't think the partnership would have worked, because you've already got your set ways. And I think it was like I think we've mentioned before, divine intervention. It came at the right time with the right people. And I don't think the benefits can ever be measured. In terms of personal, it's immeasurable. The confidence that I know that I can do things. I'm not saying I couldn't do them, but I've got the confidence of doing it now. Sometimes you're hesitant to do, and I think I'm just very grateful for it. And a lot of things that happened at the school already. We had plans to do A, B, C, D. We've got a lot of them in place already. And so it was a very nice experience in terms of that. And the key lesson for me is number one, is realize that you don't know everything and you don't have to do everything. Is other people to do things, but as long as they know why, expectations, they will rise to the occasion. And you've just got to keep plugging away at those type of things. And I think, like Michelle has said, is the doing a little bit took over in the last week and a half because of the COVID, but it is still saying, please go and sort this out, and please go and sort it out, and it's made a huge difference.
Absolutely. And I'm just curious, before we move to hear from Michelle, what would you say you are drawing most from your partnership in terms of working with the current leadership challenge in your school as far as COVID is concerned?
Sorry, you had some funny noises going on. What was?
I know, right? It's the computer. What are you drawing from most in your partnership with Michelle that is helping you with what is required in your leadership at this time?
I must admit, I don't think we've communicated a lot in the last 2 weeks, because I think we're just both almost too busy with that. But I think for me, the knowledge is I can phone her anytime. It's there's my network, my support network. I know is there's Michelle and other people, and so you've almost got that knowledge and that foundation to say, listen, if I don't know, I really can phone her if it needs to be. But like I said, it's been a little bit hectic, so We haven't actually spoken, sat down and said, how are we dealing with the COVID-19 thing? We had, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, Michelle, that we saw each other briefly and we met here and discussed a few things, but it's the knowledge that there is someone that I can turn to. And I know whether, and and I know that she will help, or she will be able to give advice or something and say, listen, take a deep breath, you're overthinking this, or this is not the way, or how. And I think for me, that is the one thing, like I said, is why I believe our partnership doesn't stop when the program finishes. It's we've made a connection to a big extent, and it's, yeah, and if I need help, I know I can phone her anytime and she'll be able to help.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Con. So as we bring this to a close, can we hear from you, Michelle? What for you have been the key leadership lessons from this experience?
Sure. Okay. So I think one of the first leadership experience things is when I started this, I had this whole list of assumptions. You know, I assumed that this was the school thing, and I assumed that it was just going to be a matter of ABC, and I'm going to have all the answers to be able to go in and fix it, and then it'll be sorted. Okay, I just got to go listen and see what the problem is, and I'll fix it. And one of the big leadership lessons is I'm not the one fixing. And it took a lot of learning for me as well, as Con knows, because I had to learn how to guide Con to the right answer, not how I had to. Otherwise, it wasn't my, you know, it's not my problem. It's not my school, it's Con's, and it's his team. So I learned quite a lot on being able to help Con guide him and his management team in how to come up with the solutions, in how to structuring things effectively without actually doing it. So I became the thinking partner, the listening partner, the challenging Con. I mean, the one thing I love with Con is I can be as candid as necessary and he doesn't take offense. And so you can do that. But one of the biggest things is the fact that it taught me how to lead through others rather than doing it myself. So I think that was one angle. The second one is the fact that don't jump to assumptions. You know, we look outside of systems and assume we know how they work, and we assume that things, I mean, there's always perception the schooling system in South Africa is terrible and whatever. And you jump into the school and you realize, I mean, the first thing I realized quite soon, and I said that to Con, is Midrand High is literally playing way below the weight class it belongs in, because it is a brilliant school. And I had all these assumptions, but you get in there and you realize the only problem is Midrand is not making enough noise about how brilliant they are. So it's amazing how a lot of those sort of nuances came through where we judge things on the outside, but once you get and really get to know it, I think the picture's so much more genuine. And then the third leadership lesson I got out of this is the power of partnership. Because, you know, Con and I, as he mentioned, we gelled really quickly. We have a mutual love of running, which helped, but we both showed up 150% throughout this whole program. Because a partnership doesn't work if someone gives 50 and another gives 100, it's going to be lopsided. So the fact that we both came in, we both gave 100%. I mean, it was a lot more time commitment than I originally anticipated. I had to really be disciplined to make sure that I was there when I needed to be there, and I showed up, and I didn't let work let myself be too busy to give this program the time it needed. And it was incredible to trust the process. I mean, Nomfuza, when you started with us the first session, I think you took us through that path in the cars, and anyone on the program will understand the path in the cars. And you look, and we're all talking about getting on the bus, and you look at this journey ahead of you and you think, how on earth are we going to get to the end of this journey? This seems like a mammoth task. But we did.
Yes.
And you look back and you think that wasn't that bad. And the learnings in the program and the journey one goes through with that, it was a really, I mean, I must admit that I felt it's been a very powerful program, and I've learned a lot. And I mean, I'm so glad that I now have a friend in Con. So we're not just partners, but I have a new friend. And I think that's been powerful as a part of this program as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We've come to the end of our reflection together. And when you were talking about the power of the partnership, one only had to be in the room with both of you and know what that means. And I really do want to appreciate both of you, Con and Michelle, for the 150% that you were talking about. It was such an honor for me to have an opportunity to experience that. And I wish you all the best with your partnership going forward. I know it's not ending here for both of you. And thank you so much for availing yourselves today.
Thanks. And Nomfuzo, what I must just say on behalf of myself and Con, and I'm going to take liberty to speak on behalf of Con.
Like normal, like always.
Is that you've been an invaluable part of this partnership. It really has been fantastic. Your energy, you know, you bring such brightness to a room, and you showed such genuine interest in what we were doing and how we were succeeding through this program. And so I think a key success is about this triad, not necessarily just the partnership between Con and myself.
Awesome.
So thank you.
So much.
There's a nice Latin word, it's called ditto.
Ditto. Ditto. Thank you. What an honor. I just want to appreciate you both for your consistency and wish you all the best with the journey ahead.
Thank you. And
Thank
same.
you.
Are you stopping the recording now?
Yes.